Click here to get right to the video game. Nintendo releases the Nintendo DS. Shrek 2 dominates in the theaters. MySpace rules also, but on social media. Usher's Yeah is playing all over the radio. The year is 2004, the same year as tonight's game, which is my second Flash horror game. Hello and welcome to my channel. Here we go to the graveyard of horror games, dig up the dead, and explore these retro games all from the 70s all the way up to the year 2015. Now jump back, lumberjack, grab a corny snack. We're about to go retro tonight on the Corn Hush Show. Tonight's game is Exmortis, the first in a trilogy of point-and-click horror games created by Australian developer Ben Leffler. That's all I know about the game, other than I'm going to be doing a lot of reading. So bundle up, kiddies, grab your voodoo dolls, because Uncle Corn's going to practically read you a scary story. You wake up in the woods with a lump on your head. You can't remember how you got there. All you can recall are the dreams. It's late, cold, and you're unsure of where you are exactly. Fighting through the headache, you lose the words because you read too... Nah, it doesn't matter. Those words were not important, were they? Surely not. As I would learn, standard point-and-click games are practically you move the cursor to the area you want to interact with, and then stuff happens. Here, oh. I don't want to remember any of that. So we'll just bag on out of here. So I just clicked on everything. You know, something will interact with me and something will not. Like this picture with a pentagram or a hexagram or a hoodogram with numbers on it. And this clock here. Like, I don't even know what this means, but I guess it's important. Chandelier won't say anything. Door won't say anything. But the door over here opens up and leads me into the kitchen area. Head of Sam? Anyone? Head? Never mind. And then you enter into the lounger room here, where we've got, I don't even know what that in the middle is. There's blood everywhere, and folks, once I pick up this book, it's story time with a lot of words. May 24th, 1997. An unusual event happened today. I stumbled upon an unusual find whilst out hunting for deer in the remote wilderness, stalking a wild steed into a clearing. You can only imagine my surprise to find a house. Old and seemingly abandoned, but standing strong. An interesting find, one that certainly has me curious. May 25th. Upon my investigation with the city archives earlier this morning, it appears that the house has been abandoned for almost 10 years and currently resides under the control of the local government. I feel that its location must be too remote for them to be able to tear it down. But I must admit that I feel drawn back to the house. mostly out of curiosity, but I cannot deny that there is something else about that place that has me yearning to return. May 28th. I could not put it off any longer. I called in sick to the office today and decided I would retrace my steps into the wilderness to once again find the house, which has been foremost in my mind of late. It didn't take much to find again, as it was almost like I was being guided back to the exact spot that I have found myself some 4 days ago. Once I plucked up enough courage, I pushed open the unlocked front door. Admittedly, I was very surprised at the ease of which the door opened, considering that the hinge had probably built up a good 10 years' worth of rust. To my relative astonishment, the place was still furnished, though very dirty and completely run down. I was and still am amazed at the state of the place considering that it had been empty for so long. I decided that I would explore the house and not disturb anything within. My fear had not subsided, and as a matter of fact, it is still with me as I record this journal some hours later. My curiosity took me through the kitchen, bedroom, and the lounge bedroom, whatever, before a thumping rose from the roof on the second level startled me so much that I ran straight out the door and back through the forest to my automobile. As it was, I almost fell off a small ledge and into the thicket below. I feel like a complete fool being scared off by rats, which I assumed they were. May 29th. I had a nightmare last night. All I can remember is the blood and the frightened screams surrounding me. And the house. The house was in my nightmare too. May 30th. I called in sick to work once again, so that I could venture out to the wilderness and explore the abandoned house once more. Not surprisingly, I found the structure with relative ease as I did yesterday. However, I was startled when I noticed that the front door was closed. I am certain that, when I left in such a hurry the other day, that I left the door ajar. In any case, I eventually attributed the closed door to the wind, as I was clearly the only one who had been in the old house recently. I repeatedly scoured through the house for anything interesting, headed back through previously visited rooms. Once again, as I passed through the hallway outside the main bedroom on the second floor, I heard heavy thumping coming from the roof. I was instantly very tempted to repeat yesterday's dash from the house, but I was swallowed by fear and continued on with the exploration. In the limited time that I had before dusk, unfortunately, I did not uncover anything that would help explain the mysterious disappearance of the most recent tenants. May 31st. I sit here in the lounge room of the old house by candlelit, recording in this journal the events that have transpired today. Although I am scared to within an inch of my life, I am bound to this house, and I feel that I do not have the strength or the resolve to run back to my car at such an advanced hour. As I have for the past week, I returned to this house with the intent of uncovering anything that could help answer the question of its missing tenant. I failed to uncover anything that could help the cause. But what I did find seems far more precious and disturbing than I could have ever hoped for. As I was scouring the library for any misplaced photos or letters, I almost tripped myself over a leather-bound book sitting in the middle of the dusty floor. As I was certainly miffed as to how I missed it in my movements through the house of the past few days. Picking up the book, I felt a slight empowerment rush through me. The distant sound of wind began to sound like whispers. and the room in which I was standing seemed to darken. I wondered what knowledge the scribe had passed down the ages for me. Enchanted by this aging literature, I retreated back to the lounge room, settled down on one of the most comfortable chairs, and continued to read through the contents of this book. Written in what seems to be a red ink of some sort, a lot of the content didn't initially make sense to me, as the majority of it is written in a language that is foreign to me. But in the back of the book, there were abridged translations written by a Mr. Xavier Raham from 1890. The majority of what I could understand seems rather jumbled and nonsensical. Rather disappointed, I closed the book and relieved myself of its burden. Things from this point became rather blurred and frighteningly surreal. The sound of the distant forest animals stopped, as if all life paused, waiting for my next move. The wind outside stopped pounding against the shuttered windows, and the candle winked out of existence, leaving me in almost pitch-black conditions. I listened closely, and all I could hear, from my heartbeat and rasping breath, was a whispering that I had shrugged off before. It was coming from every direction, yet no direction at all. The whispering slowly got louder, until it sounded like a dull roar. Voices of many different types called out. They cried in pain, screamed my name, and some shouted obscenities I dare not repeat. There are so many of them, so many voices. I felt multiple hands pin me down to the chair by my upper torso, but every time I flailed my hands out in front of me, they connected with nothing but air. The harder I was pressed against the chair, the harder it was for me to breathe, and soon I could not breathe at all. I blacked out. The last thing that I remember was a flash of my nightmare from the night before, a flash of the blood, a flash of the screams, the house. I woke up about 20 minutes slumped in the same chair. It was now long after dark, and I dared not brave the sub-zero temperatures of the woodland winter to return home this evening. Tonight, I will be staying here in this accursed house. I sometimes think that I can still hear the whispering. Or are they just echoes of my earlier brush with madness? I can feel the urge of slumber rush toward me like a freight train. I pray that I survive the night. June 1st. Plagued by nightmares more vivid than I care to remember, I awoke screaming. It appears that I've slept through the daylight hours, but it didn't matter to me. I was incensed to fight the freezing conditions outside and return home, but I was scared to move from this spot. They started whispering to me again. I want to leave, but I can't. They won't let me. I scream at them, but they just laugh and utter obscenities back at me. What have I released upon this world? June 3rd. Vlau spoke to me today. It is he who is spoken of in the Exmortis. With every word he whispers into my mind, I tremble as if my soul has been shaken to its core. June 7th. I have been here for over a week now. Surely someone must be looking for me by now. I pray that they find me. My captors here won't let me leave. Every door, every exit. The handles turn, but the door does not move on its hinges. June 16th. I no longer fear death. I actually pray that it comes for me. June 30th. They still torment me, keeping me here, keeping me alive. They need me to. I can't even write of it. July 20th. I feel my sanity has almost left me. I hallucinate so vividly. I can't tell what's real and what's not anymore. The ancients show me images of his former glory. I don't understand what they want me, why they need me. July 26th. I am actually surprised. I am told that they seek not to control me. They only seek my assistance in aiding the inevitable. But why do I continue to resist? What they tell me makes more sense than anything I have ever known. But I still fear them and what they will do to me should I refuse. But at this moment, I can't think of a single reason why I should. August 13th. Is acceptance all that I have ever yearned for? But the greater good here is far more complicated, yet so much easier to obtain. They smile upon me now. Strangely, though, I like it. I find myself basking in the warmth of their chilling promises. August 22nd. I am comfortable, and I am learning about the true nature of the world and what is beyond it. I don't know why I continue writing in this journal. I guess it's the last semblance of humanity that I have within me. It's ridiculous, though. I'm becoming much more than human with every moment that I spend under their patient tutelage. I have been tempted to throw this journal into the fire on many occasions. Reading over its pages only reminds me of how weak I used to be. I've lost track of the day, but I am sure that I have been here for over a year. It has been a long time since I've entered anything into this journal. I can rejoice, though. We will have company. At last, I will finally be rewarded. A group approacheth that provide me with the everlasting cup of life. A day away, no more, no less, I am told. Wrath, death, blood. My day has finally arrived. The Exmortis shall make the world remember what it was, and I will be integral in the reinstating of what will be. I can see them now, a group of campers as I was promised. 3 males and 2 females. Now all I can do is wait for my time. Become their hand, immortality beyond patience, patience beyond dominion. I can taste it now. Anoint me, Lord Vlau. The time has come. So many words, folks. If you're still with me, we made ourselves up on the 2nd floor in the main bedroom. And over on the bed, if you notice, there's a picture there. But behind that picture is a code that you don't have the code for yet. So I don't even know why I'm playing with this thing. Then we head on over to the bathroom where we find a key. Yay! A shining key and a bloody bath. What kind of bath were they taking? I don't know. Don't ask questions. We're here to investigate. Then we use the key to open the 2nd door, which reveals to us a whole laboratory. What? A library, sorry. And this guy with the creepy eyes right there. Zoom in on that. Yeah. And a hand. Nice. Nice. I like to read things with lots of hands and books. Lots of books. And this encyclopedia thing appears to be missing a volume. So head back upstairs. And I wasn't paying attention, but right above me, there's a door right there. What do we find in the attic, kids? Oh, that's sexy. A mutilated body. Some notes. And the number 3489. I wonder where we can use that at. And you also find a bloody symbol written. Alright, it's time to go back to the bedroom. Punch in the code. Punch in the code. And voila! A heart, another symbol, and a book entitled Exmortis. Get ready for more reading, kids. The Book of Exmortis. What was? Before the dawn of man and beast, the earth realm was ruled by the ancients, mystical beings transcending life, death, time, and reality as most mere mortals know it. The days before life and light were ruled by darkness and chaos. The ancients roamed the plains of existence and lived on the blood of conquest and rule over lesser entities. There were many of these ruling archaic spirits. I don't know if I said that right. However, one by one, over many millennia, their greed and arrogance saw them turn against each other. They sought blood, destruction, and dominance over their own kind, and many immortal sentients met their demise as a result. The consolation of the remaining power saw the ancients' rule divided amongst the remaining three: Azrael, Kefka, and Velu frequently exerted their wrath and cruelty through their ferocity towards each other's dominion. The blood of many was spilt as the remaining three fought against his brother for the spoils and power as they each possessed. Upon the battlefield, Azrael's forces reduced the armies of Velu to oust, eliminating in long-awaited glorious victory, but his compassion toward his defeated brother saw Velu get a reprieve from the certain destruction that he faced. Knowing that defeating Kefka's forces would require many more millennia of fighting, Azrael appointed Velu as his general, knowing that the power of the two ancients was enough to win undisputed control. In a final bloody battle in the crimson sky, I don't know what that word is, folks, sorry. The confrontation played out, Kefka not realizing that Velu was still corporal and leading Azrael's armies, made the grave mistake of underestimating the strength of his opponent. The losses took the Kefka forces by surprise, and before they had time to regroup, Velu had plunged his sword deep into the heart of his defenses. Azrael's forces streamed into the last stronghold of Kefka, slaying every sentient entity that stood against them. Kefka's army were eventually defeated, leaving Velu triumphant in his victory. His subordinates fought ferociously, and they were to be rewarded with the unified rule over the earth realm. Azrael, holding no compassion toward Kefka as he had Velu, destroyed the life force of his nemesis and claimed the kingdom as his own. With his totalitarian control, he decided that Velu was no longer of use to him. Unfortunate for him, he did not count on his army siding with the powerful Velu. In a furious realization of this challenge in the face of certain ascension, the earth realm shook with the power of Azrael's anger toward his army's treachery. Velu showed no mercy toward his brother, knowing that he could not make the same mistake that Azrael made. Without hesitation, he had Azrael slain by his own ethereal hand, and he assumed total control over the consolidated kingdom of the earth realm. The tyrannical rule he had lasted for many millennia, with no one to challenge him, but conspire certain forces did against the sole remaining ancient. They bode their time, recruiting supporters of their overthrowing. He was ambushed and overpowered by his trusted advisors, but knowing that only one of his own kind could destroy him, he had his corporal presence removed to exist for eternity in the demonic spirit form. The remaining world of archaic lessers were dispersed and were governed under each individual's rule. It was true chaos with no joint agenda. He, without corporal form and no longer able to physically alter the world, roamed the earth realm for the rest of existence. Diminished in power, he still had many followers to which would fall spiritually. Combine his life force with, instead of existing as a single powerful entity, he becoming subversively indestructible by being many, he called his new legion the existence Exmortis. What is? The appearance of soul-bearing creatures of flesh and blood saw a new rule within the earth realm. Over many thousands of years, man destroyed countless lesser entities, some very powerful, even some who helped overthrow his previous rule. While man was physically weak in comparison to his entities of dark times, their souls gave them many advantages, and it was due to these advantages that the earth realm entities were reduced to minimal numbers. A world once ruled with strength and might was now in the hands of the weak. The handful of ancient entities sought to influence and control humanity for mutual gain. Exmortis prospered where other entities failed, purely because of the strength in numbers and wisdom of the mighty ancient himself. Together as one, the Exmortis was worshipped widely in the world of man, and human nature led to conflict, and the cult of him was tragically cold and almost forgotten. With every passing human year, his influence and power over the earth realm was diminished until all that remained was recorded in the written form. After the death of the final disciple, he and the Exmortis slept until the day humanity was ready for the anointment of his hand. Oh, I think this guy's name is Valu, so we'll do that from now on. What will be? Prophecy and the word of Valu speak of the coming of the hand of repose, anointed with the blood of 5. A selected man will transcend humanity and evolve to become the link between the earth realm and Valu's Exmortis, awakening the ancient form of his slumber. The hand will be charged with the power to bring about the uprising of the cult of Exmortis once again. Blood, wrath, and strength will once again rule the earth realm, and Valu will walk tall and rule amongst mortals as it was meant to be in the time before light and life. Rite of charging the hand, translated from the Aramaic cult of Exmortis scrolls. The rite of charging the hand read as follows. Devoured the crimson life of 5, marks the value given to thee. Mirrored below the soul survive, what was, what is, and what will be. Xavier Rehaim, 1890. Below, corporal form. Charged with this new information, we head back to the library to read Xavier's diary. The tale of my daughter Gwen is a sad and sorrowful fable. I refer to it as a fable, for my mortal brain cannot begin to comprehend the horrors that I have witnessed in this house. So I cast what I have witnessed into my memory as delusion and morbid fantasy. My small family moved to this house of solitude last summer to escape the perils of society and to mourn the unfortunate death of my wife, Julia. Tuberculosis claimed her life only months before my move to this place. Hindsight is a beautiful thing, and knowing what I know now, it was a move that I would never, ever make again. The days rode onwards towards inevitability, and my daughter and I continued our simple existence. Being a scholar myself, I enjoyed passing the time reading the literature left here by the previous owner of this detached house. Many of the fine works kept here proved to be very old and of extreme interest to me. Some works proved very challenging indeed, and very hard to translate. The library provided here had an abundance of books, flavored with subjects focused on the occult. One particular book caught my interest, simply titled Exmortis. The word is a derivative of Exmortis, which loosely translates to the dead. It was from the moment that I finished translating this book, from the unusual dialect of ancient Aramaic, mind you, and read the final English translation that our troubles began. My daughter, the only other occupant of this house, grew distant from me over the course of the following week. She developed rageful tendencies toward my parentage, and she started having seizures, which worried me immensely at the time. But these unusual events did not limit themselves to my daughter. I began having nightmares so ghastly that I dared not recall them. Suffice to say, I was concerned by the disturbing changes to both my daughter and I. After the first week, the hallucinations began. I recall hearing noises and whispering, as well as sightings, movements. In my peripheral vision, I constantly had the feeling that someone was in the room with me, but upon searching, it was clear that I was alone. My dear Gwen, however, became less active all of a sudden. She was almost catatonic at stages, not reacting to conversation or physical prompting. She would just shuffle her petite form around the house and stare blankly through me whenever I confronted her. It was shortly after a month of this behavior that I began to notice certain physical changes in my daughter. She seemed withered in her appearance, but her face would at times seem bloated and twisted horribly. It wasn't until a fleeting moment in my day that my hope was crushed forever. My darling Gwen broke free from this new personality that had gripped her for months. She screamed and cried for me to help her, to save her from the monsters that now plagued her body. All that I could do was hold her in my arms and assure her that I would free her from this prison she was trapped in. And then she was lost forever. The Gwen that I loved had resurfaced for only a minute, but to me it was enough to realize what had to be done. That night, while she slept in her room, I crept in with the dagger in hand and plunged it deep into her heart. She writhed and convulsed in agony, while all I could do was just watch and sob from the corner. In her dying breath, the real Gwen locked eyes with me and spoke. "Thank you, Daddy." I sit here now recounting the events that led me to this point in my insanity. My wife and daughter taken from me over the past 6 months, leaving me without nothing but their memories and this house. But now I fear I am the target of the invisible force that resides within these walls. I am trapped, unable to venture past the front door or the cellar hatch to the surrounding forest. I hear voices all around me cursing me for my actions. I occasionally see her, my Gwen, standing in the hallway looking straight through me like she used to. I hope that I have saved her soul, but after seeing her apparition on a daily basis, I fear that all I have done is aided my tormentors. I now spend my days reading, researching, and translating the library. I feel that it's my purpose in this house. May God have mercy on my soul, and may death soon relieve me of the guilt I carry. With everything we knew, it was time to mosey on up to Xavier's daughter's bedroom, where he slain her. Nothing to worry about, folks. After being done in by dead breath, you come back. A voice tells you to wake up. You now know what you must do and where you must go. It's time to put an end to this story, once and for all. Looks like an old ice cream machine. But it's an old filtration unit, but the ducting runs away from the actual house. And over there you find an axe. Yes, folks, we're going to get the chopping finally. Look out, folks. We're not playing no more. We got an axe. Take that door. Take that. And some more. It was time to put to rest everything within this house. Stories, dead people, lore, everything. We were going to do it all. And nobody was going to stop us. Absolutely nobody.
I'll kill you, you son of a bitch.
Well, okay, maybe him. He definitely stopped us. But we were ready for him this time. Because nobody was going to stop us this time. Heads up, buddy. Because heads will roll. And a symbol appears on the forehead. Then it must mean this is the fifth sacrifice. Am I one of the 5 campers? Then who am I? I can't be. No. Please, no. Or are we? Here we find the final key of the game to lead us into the final chamber, where all the truths would come once and for all.
Welcome back, child. You have served us well up until this point. Now serve us again. Become the hand of Exmortis.
So Evil Zordon wants us to join his clan. You have a choice. You could go throughout the door, or you could solve this little puzzle here. The only caveat to that is you have to remember all the letters and symbols in chronological order in which you found them in the game. And as you can see here, I had a hard time figuring out when I found which number, symbol, whatever the heck. I had trouble, folks. And I just kept going over and over and over again until I finally got it right. It took a long time, but we finally got there, folks. I promised you. I never looked or cheated. Yay, success! We won the game. Wait, we won the game, right? Wait. What? Oh no. I think we did what Evil Zordon wanted us to do. dear. Oh dear me.
Unto thee, mere below the cells of life, what was, what is, and what is.
Who perish beyond the voice?
Find out many bodies. But you gotta keep going, folks. Because if you take too long, you become a body. I got it this time, folks. Honestly, I know what I'm doing this time. Just keep running. Keep running. Makeshift track, let's take it. Out into the clearing, folks. Keep running till you can't run anymore. And we ran. We ran so far away. We couldn't get away. Or could we? Yay! We made it, folks. Oh. Maybe we didn't. Damn it. Oh dear. So what does that mean? You wake up in the woods with the lump on your head and oh damn it. It's all over again. It's a cycle. And you can't get out. Unless you choose to join the Exmortis clan, you can't beat the game. And that's it, folks. My summary of Exmortis. Visually, this game looks like it took stock photos or photos taken from an actual site and some peppering with digital gore, which I'm sure at the time made for a very frightening experience. Musically, the overall vibe of the soundtrack fits the game well. Nice, creepy, and eerie tones add flavor to the game. The early rock music at the end is a very nice touch. Overall gaming experience. Even if they no longer exist in today's gaming world, having to navigate the cursor hand all over was something that's quite difficult for me. I kept looking over important triggers in the game to progress the game. With the game's images being dark in nature, it made the chore even worse for me. The jump scares didn't scare me, I found them quite humorous. I wasn't expecting to read so much though, not that that was a problem. Some of you might use this video actually to go to sleep to. And that's going to be it for tonight's Friday night video. Let me know your thoughts. Have you played this game? Which retro game would you like to see me cover next? If you like the content and want to see more, subscribing is free and very well appreciated. Want to see me play recent horror games? Head on over to my Twitch channel where you can see me play games Sunday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 5 p.m. Thanks for visiting the cornfields, folks, and I will see you all next time.